it's about the grind. Yeah, the bubble grind.
Now we have a guy that could probably get in there if you...
It's game day. The Edmonton Oilers hit the road once again. What's up, Nasties? How you doing? Happy Monday. How you feeling out there? It's Zach Kubish, Joaquin, Gage, Hernan, Salas here with you on EST Afternoons on Edmonton Sports Talk, of course, presented by Play Alberta. If you're listening, it's iHeart, TuneIn, radio apps, EdmontonSportsTalk.com. If you're watching us, thank you. It's the YouTube channel. Slam that thumbs up for us. Hit us up on the Nasty Chat, River Korean Box, 780-218-9999. Lots to get to today. Woo! There's a lot of sports going on. We're going to talk CFL, of course, the NBA Finals. We're going to talk some racing, another great race in Indy. It is race week in F1 as well. At 1:40, Justin Donk, our good buddy from 3 Down Nation, will join us. Talk CFL. 2:40, Josh Lewenberg from TSN, NBA reporter, of course, also covers the Raptors. Will join us. Talk finals, the Durant trade. We'll talk because the draft's coming up this week. We'll see what the Raptors are going to do at the 9 slot, and I'll have a good conversation there. Of course, inside the numbers and all that fun stuff, and of course, a lot of rumors swirling around the NHL. We had a trade today. We'll get to all that, and of course, your Edmonton Oilers rumors are swirling. Gager, how you doing, man?
I'm good. I'm all right, man. Just running around with my head cut off here. It's okay.
Yeah. Mondays,
okay.
right? Mondays, right?
Yeah. Let's see. Good weekend?
Yeah. So I went golfing. I told you I was a little...
Okay, yeah, let's get
I was a little worried and a little kind of anxiety-driven because I'm not a big golfer.
You?
Yeah. But I'll be honest, man. We went to Eagle Rock.
Okay.
I don't know in terms of tough courses how tough
Is that close
is.
to Fraggle Rock?
It's it's close to Beaumont, or it's
okay.
in Beaumont. I have no idea. I know we went south. I'm not gonna lie, Gager. I kind of enjoyed it.
Did you?
Yeah, I was a little tired at the end.
Did you walk or cart it?
Cart it.
Okay.
Well, lots of walking, looking for my.
You rented
my ball.
clubs or?
I rented clubs. Yeah.
So how close are we now on a scale of getting some clubs? A beginner set?
No, not even close. But because Eagle Rocks, because the first hole, like you have to drive and everybody's like there watching. So it's like, oh my! I was like, I don't want to do this. And it must have been the pressure because I hit a pretty decet drive.
You?
Yeah. After that, it was a mess.
So you're good under pressure.
So I was like, I
That's
don't
great.
like this. And then we let one group pass, 4 older gentlemen.
Yeah.
So because everybody thought it was we had 2 groups. So we were ahead of our second group, and everybody thought it was us. But ahead of us, there was 2 young guys in a cart, and then they got paired with another 2 guys, and they were walking. So they were slowing.
Oh,
So they were slowing it down.
Yeah.
So then these old gentlemen caught up to us. We're like, go ahead. And like the one guy takes a shot, a drive. He hit the flag. Awesome golfers. But then we were all kind of backed up. Like we kept having to wait. But that's the part I don't like. They were really nice. And we just said, go ahead.
Oh, of course.
But yeah, I like the first shot with the driver.
Yeah.
That's my favorite. And I like putting. Everything in between is hard.
Oh, yeah. That's good, man. I'm glad you had a good time. I mean, golfing's it can be really fun.
Yeah.
It's funny. The best rounds I've ever played, and I don't play much anymore. The best rounds I've ever played is when I walk.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, because you don't want to be zigzagging down the fairway too, right?
Yeah.
So, and I find that walking, you kind of it's usually nice out. Lots of fresh air, getting some exercise, and you're kind of thinking of your next shot already because I got to kind of put it over there, and it puts you in a good headspace. I find when I'm in a cart, it's just like whack, bang, ring, drink, like it's speed golf. Not that I don't enjoy it with a cart too, but I've always found that walking is a much more enjoyable experience.
Yeah, no, it was. Had some beers, some darts. The weather wasn't the best. It was kind of cold, and the wind. It was just the wind kind of ruined it.
Oh, was it windy?
It was really windy.
It's cold too, wasn't it?
Yeah. So it was funny. So like my drives, like, they're so inconsistent. But
Erratic.
on 17 and 18,
Did you
like
stroke it?
I finally noticed that, like, because my whole body was going left, or I turned the club, so I knew why I was going.
Yeah.
So I said, okay, I'm gonna make an effort here to keep, like, just go straight through. And I hit them both like that, and they were my best shots.
That's what.
Yeah.
That's what always happens at golf. It's terrible because you could suck until it's always 16, 17, or 18, and you just stroke one. Whether it's off the tee or you knock one stiff on the green or a long putt, and you go, oh, it's coming together.
Yeah.
And then that takes you. That makes
like,
you
damn
you're coming
it,
back.
the last hole, and I hit my best drive of the day. It was great. So yeah, I know like I was telling the GF, and I was like, no, like, I'll be honest. I was very, like, it was just like, oh, I don't know what to expect. I don't know what to do. But I ended up, like, I enjoyed myself.
Sweet.
Like yeah.
So you're golfing at the tournament now?
No.
Why not?
The hardest club is the pitching, the wedges.
Oh, you think so?
Oh man, those are hard. Like, you need a lot of practice on those.
Oh yeah. Well, you need practice with everything. But when you're hitting those, just remember, you can't. My dad's friend was a professional golfer. He was a wild man, but he looked like Tiger Williams.
Okay.
His name was Mad Dog.
Mad Dog.
He took me for some lessons, and he played on the BC tour or the Canadian tour for years. And he go, Joaquin, you can't hit the little ball if you don't hit the big ball. And he goes, little ball's a golf ball. Big ball's the earth. And so I always remembered that, right? So you just got to hit a little bit of that, and you're good to go.
Yeah, so it was funny after, like, my brother-in-law and, like, a buddy I saw at the barbecue after, because he's golfs a lot with my buddies, right? And they always invite me, and I say no because I don't golf. And they're like, well, are you ready to start coming to golf? I'm like, well, I don't know yet. Like, let's pump the brakes. I enjoyed myself. But I do want to go, me and the Jeff are probably going to go to a driving range.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I hope they get some of those, like, top golf places, like those outing kind of things to go do. I mean, the virtual ones are great too. They're kind of fun. Like, I'll admit, they're advanced and pretty cool. The putting's tough on those things.
Extremely tough. Yes.
But no, man, if you can get out to the driving range and just play some little games by yourself, little drinking games, got to hit it closer to certain targets. It's fun.
Yeah, because the GF has golfed before, and, like, she would hit some decent but again, we're not consistent enough.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
No one is, buddy.
So we're like, and I think a driving range is fun, right? Like, you just wail away, right? So
yeah.
So yeah, that was my weekend, man. It was pretty darn good.
It's good. I planted a tree.
Nice.
So that was fun. It was hilarious because my FJ Cruiser, the back window pops up, and so my wife was saying, "Do I need to get my dad's car to bring?" No, I'll fit it in the FJ. But the back window pops up, and the little whatever, the gas stuff to keep it open, the whatever that is, they like go the lifts. But those things are done now, right? So the window just flops down after I can put it up, but after a few seconds it'll just slam shut. So I'm sitting there, and a guy's across from the parking lot in Canadian Tire watching me, and I'm fitting this car in and trying to get it through the back of this window. And I'm opening the window, and I'm going around, and it's closing, and I'm like, damn. And I go back. I must have went back and forth like 5 times. And I got so mad. And then the guy across the parking lot was just watching me. He goes, "You need any help?" And I go, "Yeah, can you come and hold this?" So he was it was very nice of him to come and help me out, put this tree in. But it was good. Rain, dug a hole.
Nice.
And
you're quite the handyman, aren't you?
I got a green thumb. I'll say that. Well, we'll see. It's traumatic, I guess, for a tree to move and stuff like that. Like, the leaves are kind of wilted now.
Oh.
But it was a lot of rain, which was good. A lot of potting soil, all that stuff. So we'll cross our fingers, hope for the best, but it should be okay.
I'm tired of this weather. Like I was telling you guys before we went on air, like, we have a month left of summer because August days get shorter. You're never going to hit 30. Like, look at today. When I was driving in, it was 9 degrees, man.
Dude, I completely blame myself. You know why it sucks out? Is because remember when it was 30 for a few days there? It was really nice. I cleaned off the deck, got it all spiffed out, put the cushions out, And
Yeah.
I went because we have a portable air conditioner that we sometimes throw in like upstairs in one of the kids' rooms
Yeah.
or whatever. And I thought, well, we have one. Why don't I get another one?
Yeah.
And then both kids can be cool in the summer. So I went and bought it, and it's been crap ever since. I bought that thing like 3 weeks ago. I took it back today or on the weekend.
Yeah.
And the girl goes, "Is it work?" I go, "I never opened it." And she kept looking at it. "Did you put these back on?" I go, "I never opened the thing."
Yeah.
Like the reason, and they're okay. So hopefully that fixes our luck. But
And I got to
don't know,
run
man.
today, man. I don't like running when it's cold.
yeah, you got
I'm
to go
soft.
You got to go full tracksuit with that.
Yeah, no, I got like the tights you wear under. What are they called? They're Under Armour.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're sweet.
Yeah.
So I'll wear those with a hoodie.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Not full onesie?
maybe some gloves.
Gloves.
All right, Gager. If you were on Twitter at all this weekend, the Oilers are getting Gibson, Swayman, Perbix, Peterka. Who else? Did I miss anyone?
Trechak.
Like it is. Listen, for us, it's we do radio and in these shows, it's great, but it gets really annoying because it's like Oilers are going to get every player. And I just want to say this because I was watching the oil stream with the boys, and let's be clear here. We can talk trades, we can speculate, we can talk free agents and all that. But Darnell Nurse has a full no movement clause, Gage. He is the only one that can decide his fate, right?
Let me see. Let me just make sure. Yep. Anchor.
So, as much as some people want him to move and that contract and all, it's not going to happen. So stop bringing it up, please. I understand some people want him out, but he's not going anywhere, especially with his buddies with Dry and McDavid.
1, 2, 3, 4. He's only got 5 more years.
And he's not a terrible defenseman. Like, I get it. He's not 9.25. But guys, he was given a full no movement, I think, up until his second last year or third last year.
That was Kenny Holland.
Yeah. So let's stop with, well, they got to trade Nurse. It's not going to happen. Why would Darnell Nurse agree to that? So send in your trades and who you want the Oilers, but enough with the Nurse stuff because it's not realistic.
I don't know what it means because it has the anchor, but it also has a modified no trade clause too.
Yeah, because that modified kicks in. Let me see.
Yeah, but it says no movement plus a modified.
No, so the modified kicks in 27-28. It's a 10-team no trade list.
Okay. But again, he has a no trade clause too attached to it.
Yes.
Does it not?
Yes.
So he's got control wherever. He'll give him a list,
Yeah,
but he can still say no.
exactly.
Oh.
So like say things are going really bad and he's like, hey, I'll lift my no trade. He'll give him the 10-team no list. Like, I can go anywhere but these.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
So he has to say, yeah, I'm willing to be traded.
Exactly.
And then he'll give him his list.
Yes.
But that doesn't make sense. Why wouldn't he just say, yeah, here's 10 teams I won't own?
Yeah.
Whatever. I don't know.
It is what it is with Darnell Nurse right now. He's not going anywhere. They're not trading him. You're not going to get 9.25 in cap space.
Look, he's going to be a year older, a year wiser. He didn't have a bad season this year,
No.
right?
No, he in the playoffs he's a little bit up and down. And then there's legit the insiders talking about Gibson. Gager, I said this about the defenseman that left last year. If you're going to move on from Stuart Skinner, you need to get a goalie that's better than him, right? For many, John Gibson is, but
what do you mean by better? First of all,
like he has to be proven better than Stuart Skinner.
okay.
Because you talked about it last week. You're like, Hernan, like we're talking about Alex Line and all these kind of names. That's a sideways move.
I stylistically, maybe it's the same, but stylistically he's different. Maybe he makes the big save that's what you need, right? Stuart Skinner, I don't know, man. I feel that there's still refinements of his game that can lead to him being a very reliable goaltender. You know, a lot depends, and with most goalies, a lot depends on the team in front of them, what they're giving up, like those advanced stats with I forget the term when the puck crosses the center line in the defensive zone, like cross ice goals. There's tons of them. Slot chances. I think the Oilers were like in the tops of the league of allowing, grade A scoring chances.
Exactly.
It's so you got to. A goalie can't stop them all. There's good shooters in the NHL. You're going to get picked apart at times. A lot depends on the team construction in front of them. The Oilers have to eliminate the grade A scoring chances. And I mean, looking at the last series, they allowed a lot of really good chances for the other teams to score. I'm saying there's goalies that stop those, and Stuart Skinner has to find a way to stop some of those shots, but you can't be allowing. How many breakaways did the Oilers give up in the finals?
Yeah, because there's a number circulating in the finals, Gage, where grade A chances Skinner rarely stopped them, where Pickard stopped a lot of them. Yeah, that's the thing. But is Gibson an upgrade at this point in Gibson's career? I don't know about that. Then we got people texting in Tristan Jarry, a guy who was sent to the minors. Like, is that the answer? Jake Allen, really? Like, again, if you want to upgrade Stuart Skinner, and I understand why a lot of people do, sure. But we got to keep in mind also, Gager, he's in his third full year. He's been to 2 Stanley Cup finals. There's value in that. He makes $2.6 million. If you're going to upgrade Stuart Skinner, you better be getting a legit goaltender that is going to perform.
Yeah.
You can't keep going sideways and hoping they work out for the Oilers. Because if not, just keep Stuart Skinner.
Yeah, I don't think there's going to be any goalie movement over the course of the summer. If it's going to happen, it'll happen during the season next year. I think it'll come. Like, I look over at Vancouver, and I haven't done too much research on that, but I heard someone talk about how, Sheilof's, he's in the finals. All accounts, he's playing quite well. The Vancouver Canucks have Thatcher Demko and Kevin Lankinen, and they'll have Artur Sheilofs next year that all require waivers. They're not going to keep all three. Someone's going to slip through the cracks there. I don't know who that's going to be, but there could be an opportunity to snag one of those guys.
Yeah.
Right?
I'm almost leaning more towards keeping Skinner and getting a reliable guy that they can kind of split. Do you agree with that? And it's nothing against Calvin Pickard.
No, I think Calvin Pickard's, his value for a trade is very appealing to a lot of teams. Just to solidify their whole goaltending situation. New Jersey right now losing Jake Allen, right? He was in New Jersey, right?
Yeah.
Got that right?
Yeah.
So now it's Markstrom. I don't know their system, if they're thinking of bringing someone else in, but, you look at Pickard to a sensible backup to Markstrom. That appeals to me, Or there might be a trade there with New Jersey, something like that, right? Where you're trying to look for places that might say, "Hey, we need someone who we can rely upon here."
The People's Eyebrow says Soros. I mean,
it's $10 million.
It's $10 million, and why is Nashville trading potentially their best player on the roster? It's not realistic, guys. Of course, we would love Soros. But they're not trading him. And they moved on from Askarov, who was potentially the guy who was going to take over for Juicy Soros at one point. That ain't happening anymore.
What happened to Askarov? Did he get injured?
He's in San Jose.
I know, but did he get injured or?
Yes.
Okay.
So this goaltending stuff is fascinating because I think there is Skinner fatigue, which is crazy to say because he's only been in the league for 5 years. And I get it. You've lost 2 Stanley Cup championships, but I'm not putting it all on him. I think that's really unfair. Does he have to be better? Yes. Would you like an upgrade in net? Of course, we all do. But it's got to be a guy that's a legit upgrade, not a sideways move, not a guy that's going to come in and say, well, we hope he can be better than Skinner, but we don't know. That's not the point. This team is a Stanley Cup contender, and it's going to be for a few more years. Well, we were hoping that Stan Bowman's got some work to do, but it's got to be a legit goalie. Smitty the Welder says, so you're okay with paying 20 mil for Bouchard and Nurse? I'm not okay with that, but that's the reality, man. Like, what do you want me to do? Bouchard's going to get 10 plus, and Nurse is already getting paid 9.25, and he's not going anywhere. Of course, no one's okay with that, but that's what's going to happen.
Yeah, Saros, they're not going to be able to afford Saros.
No. Like, and that's what I mean. Jake Allen, to me, is not an upgrade. Who are some of the... Tristan Jarry is not an upgrade. John Gibson, he played 29 games last year, Gage.
He can't. He's unfortunately he's used up. He went through when it was him and Freddie Anderson. Yeah, unbelievable. And Anaheim was a good team, but now he's gone through what 5 or 6 years of just getting beat up in net. 30, 40, 50 shots a game. Anaheim's been just a disaster for allowing chances. And now there's that. He's too worn out. There's too much wear on those tires. Unfortunately, some of his best years have been wasted in a subpar team because he was a very capable goaltender. But you can't have a guy that comes in and plays 5 games and then has to sit out 2 weeks. That's the playoffs are just a grind. And you just can't take that chance. One of the things that I think people don't really look at is the durability of Stuart Skinner. That's a huge advantage. That's part of his appeal as a goaltender. He doesn't get injured. I know he got injured for a bit there at the end, but was able to come back, right? So
yeah. So we'll continue the hockey talk here. Of course, some movement around the NHL. Trevor Zegras traded to the Philadelphia Flyers this morning for Ryan Poling and 2 draft picks. We'll get into that as well. And continue the Oilers talk. Of course, we're going to talk CFL, NBA finals game that was a little unfortunate there. Not a lot unfortunate. Indiana loses their star player early in that one. Maybe things would have been different because he was rolling right up until that point. So we'll get to all that. Lots of race talk coming your way as well, but keep the messages coming to the River Korean Box 780-218-9999 and the Nasty Chat. And of course, Edmonton Sports Talk is presented by Play Alberta. Why limit your choices when you can have it all? Play Alberta is your go-to app for casino games, sports betting, and lottery all in one place. With easy access to real money games, you can enjoy everything Alberta has to offer right at your fingertips. Download Play Alberta now and start playing today. Keep slamming that thumbs up. We're back with more hockey talk here on EST Afternoons. Here's our guy, Coob, Sports Update.
Trevor Zegras is off to Philadelphia with the Ducks, moving Zegras to the Flyers in exchange for Ryan Poehling in this year's 45th overall pick, as well as a 4th rounder for next season. Zegras is entering the final year of his deal worth nearly $6 million, with the 24-year-old set to become a restricted free agent next summer. Meanwhile, the Bruins have inked Mason Lohrei to a 2-year extension worth a total of nearly $6.5 million. In Game 6 of the Calder Cup Finals goes down between the Canucks and Checkers. Abbotsford is up 3-2 in the series, having its second chance to become AHL championships. Puck drop is at 5. In the Association, Pacers star Tyrese Haliburton tore his right Achilles last night in Game 7 against the Thunder, with Haliburton battling through a calf injury throughout the finals. And this injury makes his 2025-26 season in jeopardy. Staying in basketball, ESPN's Shams Charania has reported that Chris Middleton has picked up his player option for next season in Washington, with the deal worth over $33 million. MLB action has 9 games on the slate. Yankees and Reds with a date. The Mets play the Braves, while the Nationals and Padres go head-to-head. Toronto is back in action tomorrow against the Guardians. This sports update is brought to you by Windsor Plywood Leduc, locally owned and operated since 1993. They're more than just plywood. They offer everything from doors and flooring to decking, fencing, and custom millwork. Windsor Plywood Leduc. They're the experts you need to know. More with Joaquin and Hernan after brief intermission. I'm Zachary Kubish, keeping you up to date.
The Nielsen Show with Lieutenant Eric.
Darren Dreger is brought to you by Pro-Am Sports.
Problem that Edmonton has is the same problem that every cap team, contending team in the National Hockey League has. Everybody wants the same pieces. Maybe Bowman just waits to see how the dust settles in free agency. Maybe there's a bargain available, or somebody makes him a trade offer that makes some sense. I think he's open to all of the above.
The Nielsen Show with Lieutenant Eric, presented by South Ford Chevrolet. Weekday mornings 6 to 9, only on Edmonton Sports Talk, your clear choice for Edmonton sports.
Since 1952, William Huff has been the heartbeat of Edmonton's advertising world. From humble beginnings to a citywide powerhouse, we've been the go-to for signage from print to design and installation. Partnering with Edmonton's top sports franchises and major events, we've helped shape the city's global reputation. Our secret? Unmatched customer service, decades of experience, and a passion for excellence we call the William Huff Advantage. Visit us online at williamhuff.com.
Here's to the beautiful lakes and stunning landscapes Canada has to offer. And for the kayak, camping gear, and summer toys you use to enjoy them? Need extra space? Sentinel Storage. Try 4 weeks free. Visit sentinelstorage.ca. Happy Canada Day.
Sunday through Thursday, 9 p.m. to close, head to the Banquet and dive into banquet burgers, sushi tacos, nachos, and more. Late night bites, big flavors, and epic deals. The Banquet. Get real. Play hard.
Summer in Edmonton means 3 things: warm weather, long nights, and plenty of sports. From the lake to the links, you can boost your summer fun with hundreds of casino games, live betting on your favorite sports teams, and access to popular lotteries. All in one app, anywhere in the province. Download the Play Alberta app today and deposit $20 or more with promo code YAG50 to claim a $50 free bet. That's promo code YAG50 for a $50 free bet on us. Redeemable once per Play Alberta account. Remember, if you gamble, please use your game sense.
Hey, we're back here on EST Afternoons. Thank you for tuning in. If you're listening and watching, we appreciate you. As it's the offseason in hockey, of course, we've got the Elks taking on the Bombers this Thursday at 6:30. The Green and Gold kickoff show with Matthew Wannick, Jay Milne will start at 5:30 that day. I can't wait. We're looking to get an Elks player on for tomorrow. We're all over this game as the Elks will look to do something they haven't done in a long time against the Bombers and beat them, because I think it's been 11 or 12 straight losses to this Bombers team who looked really good over the weekend, beating a Rourke-less BC Lions. So take it with a grain of salt. But we'll break all the CFL action down with Justin Dunk coming up in about 12 minutes' time. Smitty the Welder says, well, no wingers for Leon. And Smitty the Welder, you're not wrong. And listen, the only people to blame here is Oilers management. They did this to themselves. Like, they're in a pickle. And I know they get paid a lot of money. And I said it last time. What did I say last time? I said, for me, Connor McDavid, I'm not buying into this that they're leaving, that he's leaving, blah, blah, blah. But I do think it's very important for him to see the makeup of this team, how it's going to be constructed. And not just for this year, but for years down the road. So Stan Bowman, Jeff Jackson, pressure's on. Pressure is on, and they got to get creative, and they got to find a way to move some money out because they need to upgrade this team. And I know a lot of people got all these Euros in the lineup that they signed during the playoffs. Like, guys, we know how this works out. Sure, let's hope one sticks, right? But it's again, it's a wild card, guys. You can't base it on that. So here we are. Let's get to the trade. Trevor Zegras, an interesting player. Joaquin has really fallen off lately. He's been injury prone. For me, this doesn't seem like a Rick Tocchet kind of guy. Am I wrong?
Oh man, no. It's it doesn't seem like a Rick Tocchet kind of player. Yeah, because I was excited for Trevor Zegras. You know, young guy, brash, lots of skill.
Yeah.
You just thought that he would figure it out, and it just. Maybe it's the injuries or stuff, but when you watch him play, it's a perimeter guy.
He's small.
There's not a lot of pushback from him at all, right? Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what happens with him. He's got one more year left on his deal. only 24 years old. Who knows? Maybe it's a change of scenery too, right? And maybe it is a more aggressive system that will cause him to play a bit more. But at first glance, it seems like this is going to be a little bit tougher for Trevor Zegras. But, who knows? Maybe he goes there and
maybe
guys have gone to different places. Look at Bennett, right?
Yeah, that's a good point.
So who knows what happens to Trevor Zegras, because he is a very talented hockey player.
He is. He's 24 years old, of course, 9th overall in 2019. Gager last year, 57 games, 32 points. The year before, 31 games, 15 points. Really dealing with some injuries as of late. The skill's there, man.
Oh, yeah.
He's got a ton of skill. This one's interesting to me. Obviously, he's going to be in their top 6. He's a centerman. Will he play center there? But just the way seeing how Rick Tocchet handled the Canucks, he doesn't seem... I have a feeling this guy might find himself in the doghouse 1 or 2 times a year just to push him a little.
Does it? I think we talked about this, but doesn't it seem weird that they went from Torts to Tocchet?
Yeah, there's not much of a change. Torts is...
I don't know. It seems like they're the same type of coach, though.
Yeah, very
right?
similar. Like old school.
Old school.
Hard,
Yeah. Yeah. Calling guys out in the media.
Yeah. So, interesting for sure. Interesting little trade here. Let's get to some messages on the River Cree inbox. CB radio guy says, Joel, is it Hofer or Hoffer? I think it's Hoffer. Again, sideways move for me. What has he proven? Cole Harbor Joe says, too bad they whiffed on Stolars. Well, I wouldn't call it a whiff. When the Oilers had Stolars, he was even close to being a legitimate goalie. So I don't think they whiffed on that one. New tandem from RCN, Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen and Connor Ingram. I like you, man, because you're a dreamer, kid. I like it.
Why does Buffalo get rid of the Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen? Why?
Podkolden wasn't a talky guy either, which is surprising. Maybe he can bully Zebras into being a bit more greedy. That's the thing. Like, for me, a guy like Podkolden, from what I saw this year, unless he played a completely different game in Vancouver, that's a talky guy.
I think he did.
Yeah.
Though. I think he was, with the success of the first year, the pressure of being a first rounder, the pressure to mimic the year prior of scoring. What did he have, like 17 goals? Something like that? He had double-digit goals anyways. Yeah. And he was thought of as a goal scorer when and maybe that was his the way he could play in Russia and things like that. But the NHL, it just doesn't translate. He had to be a hard-nosed, crash bang, dig it out. And there's some skill there. Like, he played well. Played really well in the playoffs. I can't wait to see Podkolden next year. But I do think he's one of those guys that can come up to the top 6 here and there, but for the most part of the season, he's in the bottom 6 wearing down teams.
Yeah, 100%. Shane the Realtor says, any word if there's a market for Stuart Skinner? I think there is. At 2.6?
This will come down. I think this, like, if I'm a GM of another team, I'm okay. You're hearing rumors, maybe it's out there. Oilers are saying, would anyone be interested in our Stuart Skinner? You're talking to your goalie coaches, right? What do you think of this guy? And I think there's still a lot of upside. Like, you're still not getting the finished product of Stuart Skinner. And I guarantee if he goes somewhere else, people are, in a year or two, everyone will go, whoa, why did we get rid of that guy? That's what's going to happen. Because he's the wealth of experience, and I'd be going against it because I've always said I don't think goalies hit their stride until 29, 30, 31. That's when you've seen enough. You're at peak in your physical development as a goaltender. I think that's when you hit your peak. Aside from the elite guys, so he hasn't summited with his potential in the NHL yet, which is dangerous because he's cheap right now.
Al says, third-year starter, 2 finals, $2.6 million, 27 years old, great team guy. Yeah. Seriously, though, like,
yeah.
I think there's going to be a market for him. I do. Someone's going to take him. And I always say, careful what you wish for. Because we can be sitting here one day and being like, ooh.
I can almost guarantee that Oilers fans would be like, what were we thinking?
Yeah. So they got to be careful here. And, Kane is a name being thrown out there a lot. Arvidsson. There's rumors that Connor Brown's signing an extension. I don't know, Joaquin. It's an interesting offseason. The draft goes this week.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we'll see if there's some shaking and moving going around here.
You think
Not just
the
the
Oilers will be active in this?
Well, I hope they try to get a second-round pick back here because they have, like, what? They don't have a lot of picks.
They're all gone. But that's what you see with teams that are consistently in the playoffs, challenging for Stanley Cups. They shouldn't have a lot of picks unless you're the OKC Thunder.
Yeah. Oh, we'll get to that, man. That team is set up nicely here for the future. So that's the thing. Like, it's which goalie is an upgrade on Stuart Skinner? I know a lot of you are going to be like, well, anyone, Hernan. But let's be realistic about this. Like, I don't think Alex Lyon is an upgrade.
There's a guy that struggled in the playoffs and had to get replaced by Bobrovsky a couple years ago.
Yeah, I don't think Dan Vladar is an option.
I like Vladar as a backup because I thought he played well. I saw him play some games this year. He was fantastic, but lost the starting job to the rookie.
Bronco Nick says, what is Skinner going to ask for if he stays and wants an extension?
Well, you got to look at the numbers and see comparables, I think. But it wouldn't be, I don't think it would be.
I think it'd be around 5-6.
Yeah, it'll be 4.5 to 6.5, I would say. Around there. That's what you're looking at. Because, I mean, he went to 2 finals. Come on. He's gone up against Ottinger. I mean, and beat him both times.
It's a tricky one because I know. Listen, we've all agreed on this show, Joaquin. You're a goalie guy. That Skinner needs to be better, though. We've all said it.
He needs to. It's just that save, man. He's a few saves away from winning a Stanley Cup.
He needs to get that big save in his game. If he becomes that guy, then I think the Oilers have a legit goaltender that can take him to the Stanley Cup. And it's going to be interesting, man. I sit here today and because we were talking about it in there, when all the other shows were going on when I got here, and it's an interesting question because there's not a lot of options unless you go the trade route. But again, you want a top 10 goalie Gager, the Oilers don't have the money right now for that.
No, they do not. I know people are just clamoring for a goalie. But unless they don't have the money for the big dogs, right? But I think you can you can win a cup with, I don't want to say average goaltending. And I did say, how do I put this? Because, I said it. I said, Oilers will not win the Stanley Cup unless Stuart Skinner is in conversation for the Conn Smythe.
Yeah.
And he wasn't in conversation for the Conn Smythe. Oilers lost. Do I think Stuart Skinner can put it together and be in the conversation on the outskirts? Wow. He was great this playoffs.
Yeah.
I think that he's capable of doing that.
For sure.
I mean, if Calvin Pickard doesn't get injured, Oilers still beat Dallas.
Yeah.
Right? Well, they beat, he rolls through. If people would be talking about Calvin Pickard as a Conn Smythe candidate if they hit the playoffs at that point, right?
Because he made the big saves.
He made the big saves.
He was still giving up 3-4 goals a game.
So,
right?
Yeah.
So many of the Welders said you make it sound like Skinner got them to the Cup Finals. Well, he was a part of it. So was Pickard.
He was a big part of it, man.
Like, back-to-back shutouts? Come on, man. Like, why are we downgrading these guys? Like, yeah, he was a part of it. No, was he the number one reason? No.
Bobrovsky didn't carry the Panthers to the finals.
You get to the finals, it's for a reason. It's because everyone on your team chips in at one point. Okay? Like, Again, you want to get rid of Skinner? Show me a better option that's realistic. And we'll discuss.
Okay.
And again, I'm not opposed to it because, yes, Stan Bowman said it himself, they're going to look at the goaltending, and which is fair. You lost 2 Stanley Cup finals. It wasn't all in the goaltending. But you have to upgrade your forward group too. Where do you go here?
BBJ says you can't win a cup paying 4 people $50 million either. Well, 4 forwards, you can't. But
yeah,
if it's evenly distributed, sometimes you can't.
Going to be interesting. Hey, the afternoon inbox is presented by the River Cree Resort and Casino. Check out the Tap 25 restaurant where you can get their prime rib special for just $18.99. Available 7 days a week from 11:30 a.m. to 11 p.m. Up next, we'll shift gears for a bit. We'll talk some CFL with Justin Dunk from 3 Down Nation. Here's our guy Coob with your sports update.
The Flyers have acquired Trevor Zegras from the Ducks in exchange for Ryan Poehling, this year's 45th overall pick and next year's 4th-round selection. Zegras has 1 year left on his current deal, worth nearly $6 million, having the 24-year-old set to become a restricted free agent at the end of next season. And there's been a couple signings around the league. Boston inking Mason Lohrei to a 2-year deal worth nearly $6.5 million, while Justin Kirkland gets $900,000 to stay with the Flames on a 1-year extension. In the AHL, the Canucks and Checkers go head-to-head. Abbotsford leading 3-2 in the series. Puck drop is at 5 o'clock. NBA news has Chris Middleton of the Wizards picking up his player option for next season worth over $33 million, while for the Pacers, Tyrese Halliburton's availability for next season is up in the air after Halliburton went down with a right Achilles tear last night in Game 7 against the Thunder. Baseball action has the Red Sox and Angels battling, the Mariners meeting the Twins, while the D-backs and White Sox go at it. This sports update is brought to you by the Capital Care Foundation. Financial support deeply affects residents at Capital Care, whether it's a one-time donation or a monthly contribution. Every penny counts. Find out how you can donate at capitalcarefoundation.net. Up next, Justin Dunk from 3 Down Nation checks in with the boys. I'm Zachary Kubish, and you're up to date.
The EST Hangout.
What if they had traded for Markstrom? What if they got Jacob Markstrom?
Do you think they would have won a cup by now?
Bona fide goalie. You wanted another year, and you didn't want to give him another year. Really? And then you go and get Jack Campbell? That's a colossal mistake. That's costing him a Stanley Cup. Like, that's just bad management. Like, and I love Kenny Holland, but that's just bad management.
The EST Hangout, presented by Sentinel Storage. Weekday mornings 9 to 11, only on Edmonton Sports Talk, your clear choice for Edmonton sports.
River Cree Resort and Casino on K97 proudly present Steve Earle and Reckless Kelly. Featuring small band and acoustic performances, Steve Earle and Reckless Kelly in the venue July 25th. Tickets at rivercreekresort.com.
River Cree Resort and Casino. Excitement. Bet on it.
Hey Edmonton, ready to take advantage of lower rates and better pricing? South Fort Chevrolet in Fort Saskatchewan has you covered. From rugged trucks to sleek SUVs. And with over 40 years in business, you can trust that you're getting the best deal on your new ride. As the proud title sponsor of the Nielsen Show, EST listeners can drive a little to save a lot with South Fort Chevrolet's transparent pricing and down-to-earth sales team. Visit us today in Fort Saskatchewan or online at southfortchev.com.
Looking for quality building materials and friendly advice? Visit us at Windsor Plywood Leduc, family owned and locally run since 1993. From interior materials for doors, flooring, baseboards, and all the finishing touches to all you need for your outdoor projects like cedar lumber for decks and fences, plus all the plywood you'd need. Our full-time on-staff carpenter can help with anything odd-sized or custom, and from domestic hardwoods to exotic selections, we've got you covered. And if we don't have it, we'll track it down for you. Windsor Plywood Leduc. We're the experts you need to know.
We're back here on EST Afternoons. Good conversation going on the Nasty Chat, the River Cree inbox 780-218-9999. A lot of talk about the Oilers offseason, what they should do. A lot of goaltending talk. We'll get to your messages following Justin Dunk, who joins us now from 3 Down Nation. He talks CFL. Justin, my man, here at a golf tourney. Thank you for taking the time to join us. How you doing?
You bet, bro. Doing pretty well. We just finished up. I think we were like 7 or 8 under. Just couldn't get the putts to drop today, fellas. It was pretty windy out here in Guelph, but overall, man, the day on the golf course is better than anything else. Almost anything else, I should say.
A lot of cheap guys not buying any mulligans, Justin? What's up with your group?
No, man, it's just this course we're at, Cuttenfield's best golf course in Guelph. There's some tricky greens and stuff here. It's going to really just a bunch of excuses, you know?
Justin, let's get to it. An exciting week 3 wrapped up. We'll start here in Edmonton. We saw them drop their game to the Montreal Alouettes. The quarterback there, Gilgeous-Alexander, looked great up until his injury. But then now they head to Winnipeg. Winnipeg's on a short week. But they go to a place and they play a team that they haven't beaten in quite some time. How do you see the Elks matching up against the Bombers this week?
Boys, I don't think the one's looking too good, okay? Yeah. Unless Edmonton's going to come out here and shut me up, to be quite honest. You're going into Winnipeg. We're finding that flow with that Zach Collaros back in the lineup. And that team is so difficult at home, right? They're pretty much selling out the building every time out there in Winnipeg. And I can see how the Elks can win and play winning football, but it's just not happening. And there's still some, roster turnover going on here, fellas. So they got to be more consistent. Trey Ford needs to be better winning from the pocket. If they do that, then I think there's a chance, because I do think those pieces on defense could, if they get a little bit of a breather here and there, help keep the game close.
Justin, looking back to the last game here in Edmonton, there was, you saw some success late from the Elks, and we refer to it kind of as garbage time. Is that something that they can take into the Winnipeg game, at least, knowing the fact that they were able to put some points on the board and make it a little bit more respectable by the end of the game? Or is that just a team that let their foot off the gas and kind of coasted to a victory?
It's a bit of both, in my opinion, but I think if you're the Elks, and especially Trey Ford in the offense with some of those down the field passes that he put on the money from the pocket, you have to take away at least a little bit of confidence, right? Noel Thorpe, as a defensive coordinator with the Alouettes, is not a guy that wants to see his defense take their feet off the collective pedal or their foot off the pedal.
Yeah.
So I think that you look at some of those throws that he made and you have to draw some confidence from it from an offensive perspective.
Justin, what's kind of surprised you the most about the green and gold? Is it the defense and how much they've struggled in parts of both games, or the offense that just seems like they can't get things going here right now?
I don't think I've been that surprised about the struggles, let's call it, on either side of the ball, because you look at JC Sherritt, he's a new defensive coordinator in this league. Yes, I know he's been around, but you got to remember that when you're new as a coordinator in this league, usually you're going against some veteran coordinators who have schemed for a long time and seen it all, and they can kind of get the better of you at the start. And then on the other side, Jordan Maximic brings in a new offense that everybody's learning, including Trey Ford, right? Yeah. This is a new offense for Trey Ford. I think we need to realize that too. So I will say I've been more surprised that the defense hasn't played better, considering the defensive line with Jake Ceresna and the rest that they brought in during free agency. So I would expect them to play better as it goes forward. Mm-hmm. But the offense also has to help them out and put together some drives to get them a bit of a breather on the side.
Justin, we saw some brilliance from Gilgeous-Alexander here until he had to come out of the game here. All accounts, he didn't partake in practice today. Do you have any news on an update on his health, or how long could he be out of the lineup?
It sounds like at this point that it's just precautionary with Gilgeous-Alexander, but we'll pay attention to it, as the week goes along. It didn't look great when he left that game, but I've been told that it's something he's been dealing with going back to training camp. Yeah. Hammies can be, a little bit finicky, guys. So I would monitor the situation, but it seems like there's at least a possibility he could play this week. But with the way McLeod Bethel-Thompson played, and he's out here jumping over dudes out of nowhere, then maybe you just sit Davis down and say, okay, you get rested up. It's a marathon, not a sprint. let McLeod Bethel-Thompson do his thing, but Davis Alexander is going to want to play.
Justin Dunk from 3 Down Nation joining us here on EST Afternoons. Let's go back to that Riders-Toronto game. I know you're all over it. Riders moved to 3-0. Looked good for many parts of that game. Toronto falls to 0-3. Head coach Ryan Dinwiddie had some interesting things to say post-game there. But is this just the case right now, Justin, that once Kelly is back, they'll start to turn their fortunes around here? Because I find that team is far too talented to be 0-3 right now.
I think it'll be better on offense, fellas, but this defense has not played very well.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of pieces, and there were some that went to Edmonton, you guys know very well, like Jake Ceresna, like Alex Brinkman, like Robbie Smith, like Royce Metier, that left that were proven starters that the Argos were going to try to, again, replace like they've done a couple times during this last, let's call it 3 seasons, where they've won 2 Grey Cups in those 3 years, but it hasn't happened yet. For example, I thought a guy like Derek Parrish, who had 6 sacks last year, would be off to a faster start now that he's a full-time starter at the defensive end spot, but that hasn't happened. There's been some other injuries. The offensive line, it doesn't seem like is playing cohesively. So yes, getting Chad Kelly back is going to help, but I don't think it's going to cure everything for this Argos team.
Looking down south to the Stampeders, I think it was a little bit of a surprise to me to the 2-0 start, but fall short on Saturday. Is the bloom off the rose a little bit with these Stampeders team, or is this just an anomaly of the third game of the season?
I think there was going to be a little bit of a reversion to the mean for the Stamps. Getting off to that 2-0 start, a lot of people would be high on them. But, look at the teams that they played. I don't think Ottawa has been that great either. But they went in there, sound defensive game plan, and Dustin Crum did just enough to help them get the win. So I think let's see how the next few games play out for the Stampeders to get a real idea of where they're at.
Justin, great stuff. We look forward to week 4. Elks kick it off from Winnipeg at 6:30 start, and the team you cover, the Riders, will be at home to BC on Saturday. Thank you for taking some time to join us from the golf course. Enjoy week 4, and I'm sure we'll chat soon.
Sounds good, fellas. Thanks for having me on.
All right, that's Justin Dunk from 3 Down Nation joining us there. Such an interesting, of course, Edmonton 0-2, Hamilton 0-2, Toronto 0-3. Ottawa picked up their first win in that game looked terrible weather-wise. Holy smokes. It was just raining and windy and just gross. So Calgary falls to 2-1. Of course, BC falls to 1-2. Yeah, 1-2. Yeah. Sask 3-0, Montreal 3-0, Winnipeg 2-0. So it's going to be a tough one for the Edmonton Elks. And if you missed it over the weekend, they made some news as well, as they released defensive back Emmanuel Rugamba, who started the first 2 games for them in the secondary. And he struggled. He struggled mightily, got beat a few times in each game. So they make a move quick there. I'm intrigued to see who's going to fill in there, because in the last game, they ended up moving Cordell Jackson, who was playing sound linebacker, to his spot. And then they moved the rookie, I think his name is Garnes or Gaines. He moved into the sound linebacking spot. So that might be the move ahead of this Winnipeg game. And they announced yesterday and today that they have signed American running back Spencer Brown and American defensive lineman Elijah Alston to the practice roster. Good news, Justin Rankin, who got hurt in that game on Thursday, was practicing yesterday for day 1, but they didn't have David Beard, calf injury on the practice field. Mark Cordy, they said it was a personal reason, so he should be good to go. But David Beard, their starting center, we'll wait for the injury report today to see if he participated or not, but that's got to be concerning for sure. And then Adam Bighill, Bomber legend, signs with the Stampeders. He's been added to the practice roster. I think it's a week or 2. You'll be starting for them. So there you have your CFL news. Of course, EST's all over the Edmonton Elks coverage. We got the Green and Gold kickoff show on Thursday starting at 5:30 with Matthew Wanek and Jay Milne, and of course they've killed it with the last 2 post-game shows, and it's going to continue. But the Elks are in tough, and we're hoping to have an Elk on tomorrow, and we're going to continue to tee this game up as we get closer to Thursday. Joaquin,
I want to ask you a question real quick? Is that okay?
Of course.
You all right with that?
Yeah.
There's a time of year when I always thought when the NFL camps are going and there's players that are released, and sometimes they come back to the CFL.
Yes.
Did you find when those players came back, were they a disruption coming back, or did it give you a boost or anything like that? I just found it's so weird for a player to come into your team so late in the season. I guess it's kind of like a trade or whatever, but you always, if that happens and you get a player back, it can disrupt the room to an extent.
Because
did you have a big revolving door really the last few years?
No, because you look at it when the NFL cuts come, the CFL expands rosters. You can put a lot of guys on your PR, and a lot of the guys that come back don't play right away.
Yeah,
right. Like they'll have to go through a week or two of practice, see what they're at. I remember we had one guy. He was around the NFL camps, played preseason games, and when he came up here, it's almost like he wasn't feeling it. You can tell, like he was just kind of like not smug, but kind of like
disappointed. That's what I like, because I mean, to a little bit of a lesser extent, when sometimes you'd be playing in the American League and a guy would get sent down that's been up for a while, and you had to change his diaper every day, right? Just poopy pants, because they didn't have a good attitude, say, coming down.
And a lot of guys that have ended up staying here, and they're like, when I first came up, I didn't want to come up. Like my agent kind of had to convince me, and because a lot of them don't know about the CFL, right?
Yeah.
So they're
like Nick Anderson saying, last year, right?
Bro, he's like, I wish I would have came the year before, but I
didn't know.
Yeah, I'll be honest. Like I met a lot of guys that came from camps and stuff, but most of them were pretty grateful and kind of, let's just go with the opportunity. And again, a lot of them didn't get on the field either, right?
Oh, okay.
Like the talent is not that different. Like it's kind of hit and miss. But so the Elks got to wait a while for that. We'll see what happens here with this team. I know when 3 started, it's just not ideal. I mean, I know it's going to be tough, but there's a reason why you play the game. Because any team can win at any moment, so I'm hoping the Elks can pull this one off. But Winnipeg's always tough. That stadium is always rocking. I saw their Darren Cameron, their PR guy, tweet out on the weekend they're sold out for Thursday.
Really?
Yeah. So it's it's gonna be crazy there. So the Elks got to deal with the noise, the silent counts, and all that. The only advantage I see right now is Winnipeg's on an extremely short week. They're going to have one practice because they flew back Saturday night, got in the morning. They probably got yesterday off. Today, they're probably doing video. They'll hit the field tomorrow, and then Wednesday's walkthrough. Yeah. So there might be an advantage there because these short weeks are tough on teams. We've seen teams lose many games off the short week, so we'll see what happens here. We thought the same thing last week with the Alouettes.
Yeah.
That didn't work,
Not so
but
much.
let's hope so. Portions of this hour brought to you by the Canadian Brewhouse. Make your birthday legendary at the CBH. Epic food, killer drinks, and a vibe you can't beat. Book your party now. The Canadian Brewhouse, our house is your house. That does it for hour 1 here on EST Afternoon. Thank you for all the interaction here. We'll continue the Oilers talk, the NHL talk, and we'll also talk some NBA finals with Josh Lewenberg from TSN at 2:40. But more to come here on EST Afternoons. Keep it locked on Edmonton Sports Talk. We're back after the break.
The Lock Shop.
What did you say? I'm not a frequent visitor to regular grocery stores?
Yeah.
Like, do you ever roll in and get a cart full of groceries?
Listen, the last time I was there, and I realized it had probably been about 6 to 7 months. This was what I got. I got some Johnsonville brats and some buns. I think I got some butter tarts. But yes, Major League Baseball.
Yeah.
Major League Baseball. What the?
The Lock Shop, weekday mornings at 11, only on Edmonton Sports Talk, your clear choice for Edmonton sports.
The NHRA Hot Rod Heritage Rocky Mountain National return to Red Torque Raceway, featuring racers from across North America in nitro funny cars, fuel-altered Pro Fuel Harley, alcohol dragster, and 7,000 plus horsepower Jet Car. The Rocky Mountain National, July 11th to 13th at Red Torque Raceway, located west of Highway 2 on Highway 19 at the Edmonton International Airport, with weekend camping available. Tickets and info online at radraceway.com.
Celebrate your birthday at the Banquet Bar. Enjoy great drinks, amazing vibes, and unforgettable memories. Download the Banquet app and get a free pizza pie on your birthday. Book your party today at thebanquetbar.com.
You know Dawn. Everyone knows Dawn. Dawn from
Frontier Cartage. That's right, it's me, Dawn from Frontier Cartage, where we're setting the standard for cartage service in Edmonton and beyond, offering city cartage, Alberta highway, short haul deck, and more. My team and I are bringing our years of industry experience and expertise to every mile.
Join Dawn and her boys in a new chapter in transportation excellence, dedicated to exceptional service. Call Dawn at Frontier Cartage, 587-222-5826.
You've heard the name, but what does it mean? For over 66 years, William Huff Advertising has supplied signage from screen printing to digital to LED with design, production, and install in-house. It's a one-stop shop for all your signage needs. Edmonton owned and operated, William Huff has been trusted by the biggest companies and teams in the City of Champions and many others across the country to do the job. If you're looking for a way to get the word out about your company or event, they are the answer. Go to www.williamhuff.com. Their results speak for themselves.
The Flyers and the Ducks have made a trade, seeing Anaheim's Trevor Zegras off to Philadelphia in exchange for Ryan Poehling, this year's 45th overall pick and a fourth rounder for next season. Zegras is under contract for next year with a cap hit of nearly $6 million, having the 24-year-old set to become a restricted free agent at the end of next season. Elsewhere, Justin Kirkland is re-upped with the Flames on a one-year deal worth nearly $1 million, while Mason Lohrei gets a 2-year extension with the Bruins worth a total of almost $6.5 million. For the Elks, they've signed former Miami Hurricane Elijah Alston to the practice squad, with the 24-year-old defensive lineman spending the last 5 seasons playing NCAA football. In basketball, Washington's Chris Middleton has picked up his player option for next season worth over $33 million, while it was confirmed that Tyrese Halliburton of the Pacers tore his right Achilles last night in Game 7 against the Thunder, with his 25-26 season up in the air due to the injury. Meanwhile, there's 9 games in baseball, starting with the Rangers and Orioles before the Braves play the Mets and the Reds challenge the Yankees. Jays and Guardians open a 3-game series starting tomorrow. I'm Zachary Kubish. That was your sports update. The second hour of EST Afternoon starts right now.
Welcome back. Edmonton Sports Talk, EST Afternoons, live from the William Huff Studios here in the west side of the city. It is cold out there. Hopefully we got some nice weather on the way here for the remainder of the week. Does not seem that way, though, my friend. Does not seem that way. And the first hour, we talked a lot about the Oilers' goaltending, off-season moves, what's realistic for this team. We'll continue the conversation. Hit us up on the River Cree inbox, 780-218-9999, and on the Nasty Chat. Slam that thumbs up for us. No, it's a little slower now that the Oilers are out, but let's try to get to 100 at least for this Monday. Big shout out to Justin Dunk, who joined us from the golf course out in Guelph from 3 Down Nation as we teed up CFL news. And of course, in this hour, we'll continue the Oilers talk inside the numbers. We'll talk some racing, and Josh Lewenberg at 2:40. PSN NBA reporter also covers the Raptors draft coming up. They have the 9th overall pick. We'll get his thoughts on the finals, on the Kevin Durant trade, and of course on the Raptors draft strategy. So keep it locked here on EST Afternoons. And of course at 3, it's Matthew Wanick and Jay Milne for the Reed Wilkins Show, as Reed has a few days off.
What's he doing?
I think he was forced again to take.
Oh, he was forced? Yeah. Oh, Matty.
Good old Matty. You know how he rolls, man. He doesn't mess around.
It's hardcore.
Hey, I want to get to... listen, let's quickly get to the NBA Finals. Very tough to see Tyrese Halliburton go down. You saw you saw it pop. Not a good look. You felt... Because up until that point, he was 3 for 3 on 3-pointers. He was feeling it. He was talking trash. And you know what was interesting, though? When he went down, and I think the commentator said it almost affected OKC more than Indiana up until halftime.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, you know, when he's gone, like, licking your chops. That's a huge boost. It would be like, knock on wood, Connor McDavid getting pulled off on a stretcher during a game. Like other teams are like, okay, that just increased our chances big time, right?
Yeah, it's like human nature, almost like it's going to be a little easier. And then they're like, whoa, these guys ain't stopping because they're really good. Shout out to Ben Mathurin. He was awesome, the Canadian boy. He played well. He fought till the bitter end. In the second half, OKC took over with their stifling defense. SGA was fantastic in that one, but it was just too much to overcome for the Indiana Pacers. So let's get to inside the numbers because there's a lot to get to for Play Alberta. Hey, you want to play some casino or some free sports bet? All you got to do is deposit $20 or more to get a $50 casino bonus using promo code EST Casino. You can do the same for a $50 free sports bet using promo code EST Sports. We'll have new codes come for the month of July, but for now, if you haven't done so already, hit up those promo codes. Joaquin.
Yes.
Shai Gilgeous-Alexander was a scoring champ in the season, regular season MVP, Western Conference Final MVP, NBA champ, Finals MVP. Let's talk about a year he had. Like
crazy,
that's
man.
unreal, man.
Yeah.
For like a Canadian guy in the NBA did that. It's unreal. He joins Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Michael Jordan, and Shaquille O'Neal as the only players to win the scoring title, MVP, and NBA championship, along with the Finals MVP in the same season. Unreal.
Yeah. That's you don't top that.
It's unreal, man.
Yeah,
Like,
that's a ridiculous year. That's awesome. Awesome for like I always love when there's Canadian athletes who dominate in a sport that's I wouldn't say basketball is not a typical Canadian sport anymore. Really, success of the Raptors. I mean, Steve Nash. I mean, we've adopted a lot of Americans as honorary Canadians with
like
their
Siakam.
play through. Yeah. Lowry, I almost look at him as Canadian to a point, So, but to have a homegrown product just dominate the NBA like that, that's just awesome.
So in the last 7 years, the NBA has had 7 unique NBA champions. Raptors 19, Lakers 20, Bucks 21, Golden State Warriors 22, 23 Nuggets, 24 Celtics, 25 Thunder. That's awesome.
Do you find like lately with the NBA at least, it's becoming more of a world league?
Yeah.
With the amount of talent that's coming from, most typically it's an Americans dominate that sport, but now,
got a little bit of everything.
Yeah, Joker, now just there's so many other people coming from different nations, which I love. I mean, if you watch the Last Dance, and they talk about it a little bit, like when Michael Jordan and the Dream Team went to Europe, and not that basketball is big in Europe too, but it just I like when I see multiple nations represent at the highest level, right? It's cool, and to have a Canadian on top of it, even better.
Let's keep going for Inside the Numbers. Check this. So, July 5th, 2019, Kawhi Leonard chooses the Clippers over the Raptors, prompting the Paul George trade, which landed Shai and eventually Jalen Williams, J-Dub, in OKC. 6 years later, they're champions. The Thunder, this year in the draft, they have picks 15, 24, and 44. Okay? Every player on this team is under contract for next year. Up to 4 first picks next year. Shai's only 27. J-Dub's only 24. Chet Holmgren is only 23.
It's the beginnings of a dynasty, And I like. So if you're the GM of OKC, what are you doing? Are you like? I think there's a great opportunity here to build a culture in a team. Where in the NBA, you see super teams and guys coming in and out. Imagine if you can just keep the core and have like all these, you keep all your draft picks, you're drafting these young guys are coming in, and you just keep that same mentality for over the next 10 years. You don't have to go outside. Maybe, if you see some things, you obviously you want to strengthen your team. But I mean, like you said, you have the whole team signed for next year. You have all these picks. You can become a place that's one of the most desirable places to go play basketball. All of a sudden,
this is the reverse of what LeBron always tries to do: is build a super team.
Yeah. It puts a little bit more of the power back in the management's hands of constructing their roster.
Because you have the big three in Williams, and J-Dub, Shea, and Holmgren, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, you don't need to go out and get another superstar.
I know. There's only one ball.
Yeah, you just need to build the depth. Get and use your draft picks if you want.
Yeah.
Like, you're going to get some quality there for sure. And just, like, this team could win for the next 5-6 years, man. Like, they're that good. And now they got this experience. Then people are going to be like, well, you have to put an asterisk because Halliburton I don't believe that. Like, it's not their fault Halliburton got hurt.
No.
Like, they just play the team that's in front of them. And I think they're deserved winners, man, because it was the same thing when the Raptors won or when KD had the same injury, right?
Yep.
Like, well, what if? Yeah, what if? I mean, Halliburton was playing great up until that moment, and maybe the game's a lot closer. Maybe they win, but it's what ifs. It's a big what if. You feel for the guy. It was tough seeing his parents there.
Mm-hmm.
Just tough for him. He's such a quality player. He had some amazing moments in these playoffs. Just absolutely amazing. So, and one last thing for Inside the Numbers on the OKC Thunder. One of 5 teams to win a championship and 68 wins. One of 3 teams to win a championship plus 84 wins, including the playoffs. Second youngest team to win in the last 7 years.
Wow.
That's crazy, eh?
That is crazy.
4 Canadians in the finals. Lou Dort now a champion. Shea now a champion, which is great to see. So, yeah, man, that was a fun game last night. I tuned in. It was great. The broadcast was great. Love seeing the celebrations and the post-game stuff. That really gets me going. It's great. Of course, there was a trade. Kevin Durant traded to Houston in a blockbuster trade, sending 15-time All-Star Kevin Durant to the Rockets for Jalen Green, Canadian Dylan Brooks, the number 10 overall pick in this year's draft, and 5 second-round picks. How crazy is that?
How many teams has KD played on?
Oh, boy. This guy's worse than LeBron. I'm just saying that to piss off her boss. Let me look here. He's played for Seattle, OKC, obviously, Golden State, Brooklyn, Phoenix. Not that many, I guess.
Played for Seattle?
First year.
Wow.
Yeah. Then they went to OKC,
yeah.
Right? So, yeah, Seattle Supersonics. And he's with James Harden and Russell again, isn't he? Yeah.
Well, that always works.
They're just a little bit older. They're just a little bit older. So that's the NBA. The NBA draft goes this week as well. Dallas Mavericks have the first overall pick, which I'm still calling rigged. I don't care what anyone says that. It's such a rig. Everybody was laughing about it. It's just hilarious that they got it after trading for no reason one of the best players in the NBA, and then they get the first overall pick. Your Toronto Raptors, if you're a fan, have the 9th pick. So we'll see where Toronto goes. We'll talk all that stuff with Josh Lewenberg, of course. You tuned in to Indy this week.
Yeah, no, I watched the first part of the race. Hey, it's crazy, man. They're nuts. Like, I was on the edge of my seat half the time because it looked like everyone was going to crash. And there were multiple cautions and stuff like that. And then, I had to go buy my tree and get it done before the weather came in. And I watched the last, 10 laps.
Yeah.
It was, masterful.
Oh.
Masterful job. But what's his name?
Alex Palou?
No, the guy he was leading, had to pit for gas.
Scott Dixon.
I was just like, no, man, he had it.
We have a lot of people that watch us that are big Indy. I want to understand the strategy. Like, why doesn't Scott Dixon pit earlier and get enough fuel to finish the race? Like, I don't, what's the point of leading and then you got to pit with 2 laps to go and you finish 10th? I don't understand that. We're fairly new to Indy, so I don't get it.
Well, it's got to be something like, obviously when they're pushing, they're using more fuel.
Because that's what they're saying. They're like, Palou's got to slow down.
Yeah.
And so you're not wasting, and then there's different buttons, and you're not using.
So you're not using all your fuel, and then combine the with the tires. I forget who I would think it was it Hogarden, or
It's Hinchcliffe who's on the broadcast.
No, the driver.
Oh,
the Swedish guy that was on
Rosenquist.
Okay, like they were talking about him having to clutch and lift and clutch to save some of the tires.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fascinating what these guys have to do. It's like it sounds ridiculously complicated. So we'll have to get Tim Hernan on for like an hour and just
yeah. That's my first question. Yeah. So Alex Palou wins again. He's won 6 of the 9 races. Only 2 guys have won races. Him and Kyle Kirkwood, which is unreal. I liked Santino Ferrucci. He finished in the top 5 again. He got out of the car because his car ran out of fuel.
Yeah.
And then he went to the crowd. They tossed him a beer, and he just chugged a nice Bud Light right there. Which kind of, and then it's the first time I've seen a double overtake, and it was Palou and Power over Kyle Kirkwood. Was awesome. Like Power just followed Palou's lead, and they both overtook him, which was a really, really cool move. But yeah, if you're F1, check out Indy, man. Indy's great. The strategies are great. Like I think they had 12 lead changes.
Yeah.
Which is awesome. So it was good. Pocono Raceway for NASCAR, Chase Briscoe wins. And then this weekend, the in-season tournament starts. So drivers 1 through 32 are in a bracket. So 1 against 32. And it's an in-season tournament for 5 races. And so say Danny Hamlin's going to be first. He'll go against 32. And all he has to do is beat him in that race. And he advances. And the winner gets $1 million.
Wow.
And the race still counts as obviously championship and all that. So that race wasn't as good yesterday. Tuned in. My guy struggled mightily. I think he finished 24th, William Byram. But it looked like a great venue. I know Pocono's pretty wild and crazy and one of the great stops for them. But Chase Briscoe wins that one. And then we got F1 this week, Austrian Grand Prix.
The Red Bull Ring.
The Red Bull Ring.
Saw Max Verstappen hitting the ice.
Oh, really?
Did you see that? No. I was going to send it to you. He practicing with, I don't think it was the Bulls of Salzburg, but he was full hockey gear. He wasn't that bad.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he was moving around.
Good.
So it wasn't terrible.
I don't mind that. I like that. I like it. So we'll have a lot of F1 talk. We'll have Hernan on closer to Thursday before they start FPs and free practice 1 and 2. So he has time because he's all over it. And I am going to ask him about this Indy Car strategy with the fuel because I've seen it a few times. Like I think in one of the earlier races, I think it was Joseph Newgarden, and he tried to do what Scott Dixon.
Yeah,
he ran out of fuel right before the finish line.
Yeah, like it's down to the calculations. You got enough to get to here.
Yeah.
It's crazy because in F1 they have to have
a certain
amount remaining for testing.
Yeah,
it has to meet a certain standard, right? Which is also has its challenges too.
Yeah, it's interesting because I know in NASCAR you refuel too.
Yeah,
you got to monitor your gas and all that. So. It definitely adds to it. Like you got to be on point, man. The engineers and all the people involved are, because I know Alex Palou was also. They were like, I don't know if he's gonna make it, but I guess he was brilliant at saving his fuel and was able to hold on for the final 2 laps when Scott Dixon had to go pit. And because Rosenquist had enough fuel and they thought he was gonna push, he just could never catch him. You just never catch him. All right, that's auto racing for you. Anyone still listening?
Hello?
Hello, are you there? Dusty's listening. He says, watch your mouth, Hernan.
Yeah. Is that the...
That's what we call now creating a super team. We call it the LeBron.
Yeah. LeBron. It's what you did here, Dusty.
Yeah.
You
kind of
LeBroned
like LeBron. All right, coming up next, we'll get back to your Oiler talk. And everybody's fired up because everybody wants to trade Nurse. Everybody wants a new goalie. It'd be interesting.
Run it back.
3.6 mil. They're fine. That's all coming up. But first, hey, did you know the afternoon inbox is presented by the River Cree Resort and Casino? Check out the kitchen restaurant. It's 50% off the entire menu. Sundays and Mondays, 5 p.m. until close. We're back with some Oilers and Chell talk here on EST Afternoons. Here's Coop Sports Update.
Former 9th overall pick Trevor Zegras has been traded from the Ducks to the Flyers, being traded for Ryan Poehling, this year's 45th overall pick, and a 4th-round selection in next year's draft. In Boston, the Bruins have inked Mason Lohrei to a 2-year deal worth nearly $6.5 million, while Justin Kirkland is re-upped in Calgary for next year on a $900,000 deal. For the Elks, they've signed defensive lineman Elijah Alston, with the 24-year-old spending the last 5 seasons in the NCAA, wrapping up his college career with the Miami Hurricanes. NBA news has Indiana's Tyrese Haliburton likely to miss next season after he tore his right Achilles last night against the Thunder. Elsewhere, Chris Middleton of the Warriors picked up his player option for next season worth over $33 million. And on the schedule for baseball, there's 9 games. The Red Sox and Angels duke it out. The Mariners meet the Twins, while the Pirates take on the Brewers. Toronto's in action against Cleveland tomorrow. This sports update is brought to you by the Edmonton Elks. Catch the Edmonton Elks in action this season. Head to goelks.com to buy your tickets now and join the excitement at Commonwealth Stadium. The Elks play their next home game July 6th against the Red Blacks. Don't wait. Book your tickets today. More Oilers and NHL discussion brings us back following the break. I'm Zachary Kubish, keeping you in the loop.
The Reed Wilkins Show with Jay Mills.
This marks the longest day of the year in the Northern Hemisphere.
How can it have a time associated to it?
Because it marks the exact moment we're closest to the sun.
So could you put
we are the closest to the sun.
Marshmallow on a stick and hold it up high and possibly roast it?
You know how they got the name Solstice? The guy who was holding the marshmallow, his name was James Solstice.
The Reed Wilkins Show with Jay Mills, weekday afternoon 3 to 6. Only on Edmonton Sports Talk, your clear choice for Edmonton sports.
Hosting the Big Canada Day Bash? Make room for the celebration with Sentinel Storage. From decluttering the garage, storing your seasonal gear, and keeping your treasures safe, we've got the space so you can enjoy the day and every day. Try 4 weeks free at sentinelstorage.ca.
River Creek Resort and Casino and K97 proudly present Steve Earle and Reckless Kelly. Featuring small band and acoustic performances, Steve Earle and Reckless Kelly in the venue July 25th. Tickets at rivercreekresort.com.
River Creek Resort and Casino. Excitement. Bet on it.
Everyone knows when you need a truck now, you call Dawn.
That's right. You call us, Frontier Cartage, when you need driver coverage or have a truck that's down.
You call Dawn from Frontier Cartage.
When you've got way more freight to move than you thought.
You call Dawn from Frontier Cartage.
When you need a truck that's available and ready to start anytime you need.
You call Dawn at Frontier Cartage, 587-222-5826. 587-222-5826.
Got some gently used furniture or home goods that need a new home? Find Edmonton is here to help. Every month we furnish over 100 homes to those transitioning out of homelessness, and we need your gently used furniture and home goods. Drop off at 5120 122nd Street or call for free local pickup. Just visit findedmonton.com to learn how your donations can help create a home for someone in need. Plus shop our thrift store, in-store or online, with proceeds benefit those moving out of homelessness through housing supports. Visit us at findedmonton.com. Find Edmonton, supporting our community one home at a time.
We're back here on EST Afternoons. How you doing out there? It's a cold one. Very cold. Joaquin, Gage, Hernan, Salas, Zach Kubish with you here. Because it's the NHL off-season, lots to get to, of course. River Creek Inbox, 780-218-9999. Hit us up on the Nasty Chat. Slam that thumbs up. We haven't hit 100 since the Oilers lost in Game 6. I know you're upset, but let's go. Let's do this.
Got to put it behind you, Hernan. It's in the rearview mirror.
You got to move on.
Doesn't matter anymore.
You got to move on, man. You got to move on.
I think that hurt the Oilers to start the season. They couldn't move on. You know, it's done.
Good point, buddy.
It's done.
It's done, yo. Quickly, let's get to this day in sports history. 24 years ago, the Islanders acquire Alexei Yashin from the Senators for Bill McCult, Zdeno Chara, and a first-round pick that ended up being Jason Spezza. How about that, eh?
Terrible.
19 years ago today, the Florida Panthers acquire Brian Allen, Alex Ault, and Todd Bertuzzi. From Vancouver for Lucas Krejcik, Roberto Luongo, and a 6th-round pick.
Wow.
That worked out for Vancouver pretty good. They went to a finals.
Yeah, old Bobby Lou. He's getting it done in Florida, I guess.
He's a legend there. On this day in 1984, The Reflex by Duran Duran hit number 1 on the Billboard Hot 100.
Great song.
Great band. Love that, Duran Duran.
Le Bon. Because they did View. You would have liked their when they did the Bond movie. Because they did A View to a Kill.
Oh, I didn't know that. In 1989, Honey, I Shrunk the Kids was released in theaters.
Oh, that's a good one.
Me and my sister, when we were kids, loved that movie. It was so cool.
Almost went to go see a movie last night.
Oh.
But it started at 9:45, and that would have been a very expensive nap.
Super Mario 64 was released 29 years ago today. And it's National Detroit Style Pizza Day.
Oh, have you ever had Detroit style pizza?
I think Campio does Detroit style, doesn't it?
No, I think it's like pan pizza. Or do they have that at Campio? I've never had pizza.
I think that's what it's...
Because there's a place across from Scona School called High Dough that's Detroit style, and it's the thick in the pan. It's really good, actually. If you're around the Strathcona area, just go hit that place up.
Back in the day, I went. There was a place. I can't remember what it's called. It's closed now, but it was on White Ave, and it was Detroit style pizza. Like that's what it said on their menu.
Oh, really?
It was really good. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's just thicker than most regular pizzas.
I was out at who has a good pizzas? The Silent Ice Center.
Really?
Yeah. My daughter was babysitting, so I had to drive her out there, and my wife came with me, and we were like, we want to go grab something, and so we were gonna. I go, well, we were in Ellerslie area. So I go, let's go hit up the Silent Ice. So we went out there, and I think I heard Tommy talking about it. It was the Fort McMurray Oil Barons had their spring camp going on. So it was actually some pretty good hockey players out there. It was weird watching hockey this late. But and then the girl, what was her name? Our server was fantastic. Shoot. It was starting with a B, I think. Anyway, she goes, so you here to watch hockey? And we said no. And she looked at us like, what? Why are you here?
Yeah.
He goes, no. And then we explained that she knew Belzy and Tommy and stuff like that. So
Boom Boom?
Yeah. So it was it's a nice spot, wood-fired. I got the caprese pizza.
Nice.
My wife got the Montreal smoked sandwich. Fantastic food.
Nice.
So
yeah, a lot of people are saying Campio is Detroit style.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. And then someone said High Dough. I think you already said that.
Yeah.
Dallas Pizza from Al. I love Dallas Pizza. Get their Greek. Oh,
I haven't had a good Greek pizza in a while.
Dallas Pizza, buddy. It is the best. Pizza Garage has fantastic Detroit style from Van Owen. Way back in the day, the Rose Bowl had a mint pizza on Jasper. I see. Interesting. And also on this day, the first installment of The Fast and the Furious premiered in theaters.
It's all about family.
How many have you seen?
All of them.
I think I've seen 4.
Really?
The second one's terrible with Ludacris and Tyrese.
I think a few months ago, kind of got into it the night before. And my wife and I, we just put off everything. And it was because they were showing them. And we started watching 1, and then it rolled into 2 and 3. And then we went to go grab something to eat and came back. And we watched them all, I think. Like we had a Fast and Furious evening of just back to back. They were good, man. The ones with The Rock are good.
Those are good.
Those were good ones. And then when The Rock left, it wasn't as good. And then the one with
Didn't they go to
Aquaman.
space in the last one?
Oh, yeah.
That's so stupid. When someone told me that, I thought they were pulling my leg. I was like,
man,
no.
they were jumping cars in space.
My favorite one's the first one, obviously. And then there's one with The Rock.
Well, the ones with Charlize Theron are good, too. Like, she has a bad guy.
Oh,
She was
she's
good.
in it?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know. Where's the one where, what's his name in the movie? Torrico?
John Toretto.
Toretto's girlfriend loses her memory, right? And she's on the other team.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one's good.
That's good.
Yeah. I haven't watched them all, though. Yeah.
They're fine. You get
okay.
what you get. You don't get upset with those
But
things.
the first one's the best, by far.
Oh, it was solid.
Yeah. Yeah, the one in space, that's where I draw the line. I was like, I'm not watching this crap.
The next one will be underwater. Down at the Titanic, jumping off with submarines.
Max Mizzou says Fast Five is the best one. There's so many. I don't know.
There's 13, I think. Is there 13 of them?
Oh, boy. Coop, hint, hint, wink, wink for Back to the Future.
I can't wait to fail that one, boys. No, there's more than 10. There's 11 of them.
11.
Because they made Fast X in 2023. Or sorry, the 11th one is set to premiere in 2026. Fast X Part 2.
Big Uke says that's number 6 when Letty comes back. Yeah, that was her name.
Letty, yeah. What's her name?
Well, and then
again?
Buddy was out because he passed away. It was so sad. Walker.
Paul Walker.
Paul
yeah.
Walker.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's milking a cow, and then there's the Fast and the Furious.
Didn't Dusty cry in like number 7, I think? Because that's the one with his kid.
Oh, seriously?
No, you can't go with them.
Stupid asshole sends us stats. Says, gentlemen, do these stats look like a good goalie who had a bad year, maybe worth taking a chance in as change of scenery might do him good type of guy?
Who?
I think I know who I think he wants us to guess. I'm pretty sure this has to be. Is this Jars? Tristan Jarry?
Oh, Jarzy?
Let us know.
Mike Crosby in the nasty chat. I watched the Titan show on Netflix because Gage said it was good. Man, oh man, that is unreal.
One of the best stocks I've seen in a long time. Man.
It's so good.
It's so
good.
Sheldon, not in a white garbage truck, says Dixon was hoping for a yellow. That's why he stayed out late.
That's what I
because then
figured.
they slow down and they can save fuel.
Exactly.
Yeah. Interesting. Thanks for that. All right, let's get back to the order talk. Who do you want to trade? No, I'm just kidding. So there is rumors out there that an extension for Connor Brown. Are you okay with that?
No.
Time to move on?
Time to get younger.
Yeah. I'm with you, bro.
That's what Connor Brown can do should be able to replace almost with an entry-level deal, I think.
No, I'm with you, man.
His game's not getting any better, right? That's easily replaceable. I mean, what's he want for salary?
I mean, if
it's $1 million, fine.
I'm okay from $1 million to $2 million.
No,
on like a 3 year
I'm capping that at $1 million. You want to play here enough with? Probably give him a no move. Jesus. No, man. I think you can't. I know it's win now mode, but there has to be a little bit of looking to the future. You can't have the blinders on completely here. Got to find someone else. Offer sheet nice.
But that's the thing. Like it's you tried it 1 year. You brought them all back. Again, you didn't win it all. Like, why do you continue to bring these guys back? When, listen, Connor Brown had a better year than he did in his first year in the regular season, but he's still not. I don't know, man. I'm not a big Connor Brown guy. I don't know why.
Look, I like him, but he's 31 years old, right? His best days are behind him here.
Yeah.
I think for the amount of money that you would have to spend on Connor Brown, you should be able to find somewhere else.
I'm with you, man. Stop. Again, we're bringing back everybody that was here for the last 2 years. Like, you need to upgrade. And Connor Brown's not hard to upgrade. I'm sorry.
I heard Dusty talking about Broberg this morning, and of course that name's going to keep popping up. You know, another thing about Broberg that you got to realize was he was injury prone, and that did we talk about that a little bit? I think we did. That probably went into the decision making of not signing him too, right? It was just like, this guy's he's shown he gets injured, and what happened at the end of the year? Broberg didn't finish.
Yeah.
Or Holloway. Sorry, I'm saying Holloway.
Yeah.
Got him mixed up there.
No, that's fine. But That's the thing. Like it's going to be interesting. I'm not sold it's going to be Skinner on the way out. It might be Pickard. That's just the way I'm feeling about it.
I think you have a better chance of trading Pickard, and I don't know. You're going to need someone to come. I don't know. I think that everyone's kind of right. I'm in agreement. I don't think the Edmonton Oilers will probably start the season with the two guys because they've handcuffed them. They have too much to do with other areas of their roster, right?
Well, that's just for me. That's just it. It's I want to see Stan Bowman go to work here and see how he's going to create cap space, because we can talk about all these names and it's all fantastic, but until we see money going out, Joaquin, and what Bouchard's going to get, like it's.
You need to really consider looking at a handful of players on this lineup to look to boost with go younger, because you got Kane 33, Nuge 32, Arvidsson's 32, Enrique's 35, Nurse is 30, Ekholm's 35, Kulak's 31, Stetcher's 31, Klingberg's 32. Like you have to start. These guys are older than some of my socks.
Okay,
I got old socks.
Stupid Asshole says, yes, it's Tristan Jarry, but you didn't answer the question. So the question is, Joaquin.
What? What is the question? Give it to me.
Would it be worth taking a chance on Tristan Jarry?
So this is that kind of sideways move, right?
Yes.
And what is that? Jarry's older, though, is he not? How old is Jarry?
Well, let's take a look. Tristan Jarry he's a 95. He's 30 years old.
I think, in my mind, it's a sideways move for an older goalie that I don't know if you're getting any better. I think Stuart Skinner has the ability to get better. And that's what I'm saying. And look, people are saying, didn't get it done. Look at his numbers. It's got to be changed. Yeah, and it probably will be. He's had 2 cracks at it. Both times, Stuart Skinner, that 1 save, 2 saves, haven't been there. But that's, to me, that's close. You're so close to greatness there.
I'll put it to you this way. If it's Jarry, Pickard, or the Oilers any better in net?
No, they're the same, which is still pretty good. I'm not saying it's bad.
No. I have nothing against Tristan Jarry, but 30 years old, coming off a really down year. That's a tough one. I mean, if this team was kind of one of those teams in a rebuild or fighting for a wild card spot, I'd be like, hey, sure, take a chance, see what you got. It's not going to cost you much, but not for a Stanley Cup contender. Now, change of scenery could help, right? He played here before.
Yeah, but it was junior.
No, I know, but it's not his hometown either. So, but it just could be the comfort of playing here.
I think he works out with Dustin Schwartz.
Don't say that name on this show.
Sorry,
no, I'm just kidding. Yeah, I don't know. How about you, Nasties? You have an appetite for Tristan Jarry? Let us know. River Box 780-218-9999 or hit us up on the Nasty Chat.
Nasties, let us know. Who would you like to see most? Comparable. Don't say like Vasilevsky or.
No, come on.
Be reasonable.
Be reasonable out there. All right, coming up, we're going to talk some NBA with Josh Lewenberg, and we'll finish off with the Oilers talk. Tristan Jarry, is there an appetite for him here in Edmonton coming off a bad season, but would a change of scenery help him out here in Edmonton? Would it be Jarry-Skinner duo, Jarry-Pickard duo? Let us know on the River Korean Box and on the Nasty Chat. We're back after the break to talk some association. Here's Coop, Sports Update.
Anaheim's Trevor Zegras is off to Philly in exchange for Ryan Poehling in this year's 45th overall pick, plus a 4th rounder for next season. Zegras is entering the final year of his deal with the 24-year-old, set to become a restricted free agent next summer. Meanwhile, the Bruins have inked Mason Lohrei to a 2-year extension worth nearly $6.5 million in Game 6 of the Calder Cup Finals. Goes down between the Canucks and Checkered's Abbotsford is up 3-2 in the series with the second chance to close it out. Puck drop is at 5. In the CFL, former Miami Hurricane Elijah Alston has signed to the Elks practice roster. The 24-year-old defensive lineman spending the last 5 years in the NCAA. And NBA news has Pacers star Tyrese Haliburton likely to miss next season after he tore his right Achilles last night in Game 7 against the Thunder. Staying in basketball, Chris Middleton is back for next season in Washington, with Middleton picking up his player option worth over $33 million. MLB action has 9 games. Yankees and Reds have a date. The Mets play the Braves while the Nationals and Padres go head-to-head. Toronto is back in action tomorrow for the first of 3 games against the Guardians. Josh Lewenberg from TSN checks in next to chat some NBA. I'm Zachary Kubish, and you're up to date.
Strike up some fun at the Banquet Bar. Bowling, drinks, and a great time with friends, where the good times roll. Whether you're here to bowl or just hang out, the Banquet Bar is your go-to spot. Get real, play hard at the Banquet.
You've heard the name, but what does it mean? For over 66 years, William Huff Advertising has supplied signage from screen printing to digital to LED with design, production, and install in-house. It's a one-stop shop for all your signage needs. Edmonton owned and operated, William Huff has been trusted by the biggest companies and teams in the City of Champions and many others across the country to do the job. If you're looking for a way to get the word out about your company or event, they are the answer. Go to www.williamhuff.com. Their results speak for themselves.
Summer in Edmonton means 3 things: warm weather, long nights, and plenty of sports. From the lake to the links, you can boost your summer fun with hundreds of casino games, live betting on your favorite sports teams, and access to popular lotteries. All in one app, anywhere in the province. Download the Play Alberta app today and deposit $20 or more with promo code YAG50 to claim a $50 free bet. That's promo code YAG50 for a $50 free bet on us. Redeemable once per Play Alberta account. Remember, if you gamble, please use your game sense.
River Creek Resort and Casino and K97 proudly present Steve Earle and Reckless Kelly. Featuring small band and acoustic performances, Steve Earle and Reckless Kelly in the venue July 25th. Tickets at rivercreekresort.com.
River Creek Resort and Casino. Excitement. Bet on it.
Hey Edmonton, ready to take advantage of lower rates and better pricing? South Fort Chevrolet in Fort Saskatchewan has you covered. From rugged trucks to sleek SUVs. And with over 40 years in business, you can trust that you're getting the best deal on your new ride. As the proud title sponsor of the Nielsen Show, EST listeners can drive a little to save a lot with South Fort Chevrolet's transparent pricing and down-to-earth sales team. Visit us today in Fort Saskatchewan or online at southfortchev.com.
It's 2:43. Welcome back to EST Afternoons here on Edmonton Sports Talk. Reminder that the Reed Wilkins Show is coming up from 3 to 6 with Matthew Wanick and Jay Milne. So keep it locked here on Edmonton Sports Talk. We'll continue the Tristan Jarry after Josh Lewenberg. Just looked at his contract. That's a no for me. 5.3 for the next 3 years.
No.
That's not going to work for the Oilers. But let's talk some NBA. Saw the final game yesterday. OKC deemed champions. We got the draft coming up, and we had a trade in the NHL, a blockbuster one. And the NBA, sorry, I said NHL. To talk all things association, Josh Lewenberg from TSN joins us. Josh, thank you for taking the time today. How you doing?
I'm doing well. How's it going, guys?
Pretty good, pretty good. I know it's a busy week for you, Josh. Let's get to the game last night. Of course, really unfortunate seeing Haliburton go down. You know, a lot of what ifs if he stays in that game. He was 3 for 3 on threes right up until the injury. But credit to OKC. They shut it down in the second half, and it's great to see the Canadian boys win the championship. Just what's your takeaway from the NBA Finals?
Yeah, I mean, let's start with Indiana. I mean, one of the unlikeliest playoff runs we've ever seen, but certainly one of the most mesmerizing and memorable ones too. But Halliburton was at the absolute center of that with all of his heroics and the comebacks and the shots and the celebrations. So the fact that he wasn't able to see it out and close it out and ultimately see if they could pull another rabbit out of the hat, that's disappointing, and it's obviously a cruel twist of fate, but it's also part of the sport, right? It's part of sports in general, in that he knew the risk in playing through a significant calf strain, and everybody knew the risk, and he played anyway. He wanted to play anyway in order to try and win a championship for his team and his teammates. That doesn't make it any less devastating, but it does leave Indiana and its fans with this painful what if. Yeah. But with all of that said, like, I'm never one for the championship asterisk or the caveats. If you win it, you win it. And you need lots of things to be a championship team. Certainly skill and talent depth are among them, but you also need a little bit of luck. The Lakers in 2020 are NBA champions. I don't care if it was in the bubble. The Raptors in 2019 were NBA champions. Doesn't matter about the Durant injury or Clay or any of that. If you win it, you win it. OKC won it. They were the best team in the league this year. Just a fantastic, historic single season for them as a team, and specifically for our guy, our Canadian, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. So really happy for them, and I don't think this is going to be the last time that we see them in the finals competing for a championship. Yeah, they're set up so nicely with all the picks and just the youth of their team and the contracts they have right now. Josh, it's kind of cool here in Canada. You know, we were talking earlier that, you know, with Siakam and Lowry being with the Raptors in the championship, like, we almost consider them Canadians. We know they're not, but seeing the four guys yesterday, Mathurin, Nembrad, Lou Dort and Shea, it's such a, so much pride watching the Canadians kind of take over that finals. It was great to see. Just your thoughts on what's happening in the NBA with the Canadian invasion. It's the fifth year in a row where a Canadian has won the NBA championship. Obviously, in this case, there's two of them. And it's the second year in a row where there's been four Canadians in the NBA finals. Yet last year, those four Canadians were bottom of the roster types of players. Whereas here you've got four rotation players, three starters. And you're right, like, all four of them played a key part in this series, and specifically even in game 7 last night. I mean, obviously Shai did what Shai does. But then you've got the two Pacers in Mathurin and Nembhard. I believe they combined for 20 of the team's 23 fourth-quarter points as OKC's defense took Siakam out of the game. And obviously Halliburton was out. They were trying desperately to make their last stand, their last push. And then Lou Dort is the only one of the four that didn't score in double figures last night. But he was typically excellent on the defensive end, had two huge steals late in the game. So it's very cool and not at all surprising when you look at how basketball continues to trend in this country. Yes, a depth of talent, not only in the NBA, but in Europe, in the youth levels. But I think specifically, and let's segue here to Shai, to have the league MVP, the best player on the biggest stage, this is huge. And it's not just a guy who's super talented and I think checks off a lot of boxes in terms of what you're looking for from a franchise player, a guy that represents Oklahoma City really well. But guess what? He also represents the country really, really well. He's a proud Canadian. He's the first guy every summer to stand up and say, well, I'm playing. And once that domino falls, once the best player says, well, I'm in, all of a sudden all of the other guys follow suit. And again, to see him have this kind of success, really one of the greatest single seasons of all time, in rarefied air with Shaq, MJ, and Kareem as the only players that have won the scoring title, MVP, NBA title, and finals MVP. It's incredible. And the dude is only 26, just entering his prime. So there's a lot more to come.
Josh, all eyes focused on the draft coming up with the Toronto Raptors picking 9th. Do you see them using this pick, or if they do or not, if they do decide to use this pick, where do you see them going? Are there any names that are appealing to you right now to bolster their lineup?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of noise around the league at this time of the year, as there always is, and it seems like the Raptors are involved in just about everything. But when the Giannis pipe dream was alive and well, the Raptors were right there in the mix. KD, before he was moved yesterday, right there in the mix. I think there's a couple things to it. One is the reputation as a team that's always in the mix. So they're kind of easy to throw out there and use as leverage if you're one of these other teams. And I think that's what Phoenix was doing to try and get Houston and maybe San Antonio to pay up. But there is some truth to it in the sense that, Masai Ujiri is in the last year of his contract. I think he's highly motivated to turn things around quickly. And I also think, they see an opportunity in what was already a weakened Eastern Conference and now has gotten even weaker with the Halliburton injury. Mm-hmm. Indiana's going to be compromised next, in addition to Boston and Milwaukee. And I mean, it is a wide open Eastern Conference. So I think if there is something out there that makes sense for them, they'd be interested in doing it. At the same time, they already made a big move in adding Brandon Ingram. We still haven't seen him in a Raptors uniform. So I think in a lot of ways they figure that's their big addition. I don't know who that next guy is, who the next big fish is after KD, but there's always somebody, right? It's the NBA, and a lot of it is unpredictable. We didn't know Luka Doncic was available until he was traded. We didn't know Desmond Bane was available until he was traded. So we'll see who the next guy is and whether or not it makes sense for the Raptors. We have heard, there's been a lot of rumblings about their pick maybe being available, and we were just talking with Dan Tolsman, the assistant general manager, and he said what you would expect him to say, that they're still weighing all of their options and everything is on the table. Maybe they move up, maybe they move down, maybe they move out, whatever. They've said that every year, and it's worth noting that in the 10-plus year tenure of this Ujiri-led front office, they have never traded a first-round pick between the end of the season and draft time because, Ujiri at heart, he's a scout. That's how he got his start in the league, as a scout. And I think he loves this time of year where you get to sit down and really just look at these young guys and project their future and ultimately pick the one that you like the best. And the Raptors have proven over the years they're really good at it. So to answer your question, my expectation is that they'll make this pick at 9. It's not impossible that they move it, but I would expect that they'll keep it. And I wouldn't be surprised if they end up taking a big man. That's their biggest need right now. They're a team that always says draft the best player available, but in this case, they might be fortunate in that there are a lot of quality bigs in that range. The best player available, or at least the top player on their board, might also be the thing that they need the most. So then it's just a question of how much patience and tolerance do you have for development, because bigs generally take longer to develop. I think there are some safer picks. Maybe a guy like Derek Queen comes to mind, somebody whose floor is a little bit higher, a little bit safer prospect, whereas you could roll the dice on, Malawach from Duke is somebody with a pretty high ceiling. I'm not sure that he's going to be available at 9 necessarily. There's the French kid, Asenge, who's really, really interesting if you're looking for a longer-term prospect. So I think they're going to have some interesting options there. And again, my expectation is that they keep the pick and that they use it on a big.
Josh Lewenberg from TSN joining us. Last one here for you. We saw the big trade yesterday at a Game 7. Obviously, Kevin Durant going to the Rockets for Jalen Green, Dylan Brooks, number 10 overall pick in this year's draft, and 5 second-round picks. Just break down this trade for us here, Josh.
If it was any other league, I'd be like, there's a blockbuster trade on the day of the final game.
Yeah.
Imagine that happening in the day of the Super Bowl. But I mean, it's the NBA, right? This is the ultimate soap opera where the drama off the court is sometimes more interesting than whatever's happening on the court. And look, this is really interesting. The Suns were in a tough spot with minimal leverage, especially once KD went public, leaked out his list of preferred destinations. I'm not sure that they could have done that much better than this. They can look at it and say, all right, well, we got a top 10 pick. We got Jalen Green, who, whether they keep him or not, is still a young player, interesting asset. But this is a no-brainer for Houston, an absolute slam dunk to where you get a player, turning 37, going to be a free agent, probably not going to play that much longer, but he's still really, really good. He gives them some championship experience that they desperately need, a go-to scorer to pair with a really intriguing young core and another veteran point guard, championship point guard in Fred VanVleet. They still have their depth. They still have a ton of picks that they can use to go out and make another move. And they really didn't give up anything from their young core other than Green. By the way, still have a bunch of Phoenix's picks, which look pretty good right about now. So even in this loaded Western Conference, they're at the absolute top of it. And I cannot wait to see the battle between OKC and Houston. Hopefully for at least a few years. Hopefully Kevin Durant waits a little bit before demanding his next trade.
That'd be great. Josh, great breakdown. Look forward to your coverage on the draft that goes this week. And thank you for taking the time to join us. All the best, my friend.
All right, guys. Take care. Talk soon.
All right, that's Josh Lewenberg from TSN. We got to get out, Gage. It's been a fun show. We talked a lot of Oilers, goaltending, what they're going to do in the offseason. We looked at the CFL with Justin Dunk, and of course, Josh Lewenberg with TSN. We talked some Fast Five movies because it's their anniversary and all that fun stuff. So download the show, Spotify, Apple, wherever you get your podcast. Slam that thumbs up for us. We appreciate you listening and watching us. For Zach Kubish and Joaquin Gage, I'm Hernan Salas saying thank you. Enjoy the rest of your Monday. We'll chat soon.